Welcome back. My name is Aiden Perkins, and I've been delaying making this video for a little bit. I find it really hard to just sit in front of a camera and talk without any response or anything like that. Just making content like this. With my other channel, Lord Smack Snacks, I'm very used to being in a call or just being with my friends or having that feedback of whatever I say. Even on that channel, I would never make solo video content or anything like that. Um, but enough talking about me. Let's talk about the topic that I really want to talk about today is, well, the video title. Um, doesn't really explain much, but the main topic of what I really want to talk about today is praying and actually using that prayer. So, for example, what I was taught, like growing up and stuff like that with Christ, was if you stay close to Christ, nothing bad will happen in your life or anything like that. Growing up with, like, I guess the church that I belong to and stuff like that. But now that I grow up and realize, how I thought for myself, I realize if you pray, or if you pray for like something better for yourself, but you don't put anything towards that, nothing's ever going to come of that. And even though, yes, praying and having a relationship to God will have an effect on your life, it's not going to be immediate, or will it always be huge. For example, there's this one comedian that I really like to watch, and one of his bits was I I'll just I guess act it out. So it was all right, God, there's this really poor person in my life. I meet them every day at my local grocery store. They're always outside. I just wish to bless them with riches and comfort and all sorts of things. And the example that he really made at that after the show was then the very next day I passed him with a $20 bill in my wallet and I didn't give him it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that could be applied to your own life and not just like praying for someone else's salvation or riches or glory or anything of that. If you pray or go to church on Sunday and be like lukewarm to being a Christian and all this stuff and never like actually devote yourself to being better for yourself or being better for somebody else, then that's just shooting yourself in the foot. You know what I'm saying? Um, like praying and doing all these things, say, oh, dear God, dear Lord, um, please make me stronger, um, make me healthier, help me, do all these things, but then don't put any effort into actually doing it. That's ridiculous. And I feel like that's what a lot of people do, or the people that are trying to be Christians, and they just pray and then nothing happens. And then they're like, oh boy, guess nothing's going to happen with this. It's just ridiculous in my mind. And I feel like that's just become more present to me because I talked a lot about this on the show that I did with Reed, with this church that I most recently went to. Um, Actually, I'm just going to talk about this. Assuring the assured. If you are a priest in a church and someone new comes into your church and you don't really talk with them at all or anything like that, or like the message isn't speaking to them, and but because you've talked, I've experienced this firsthand, because I have been in this church and I have not been impressed by almost anything that has come from it, and every time the priest says something or the preacher says something and I think that is just ridiculous or just like insane, I almost I've been looking him dead in the eye and just a straight face, just unamused and everything. And the next week, I go in for Bible study. He quotes what I did to him because this church is very crazy. It's not what I was used to. It's not what I grew up with or anything like that of the sorts. Um, and a lot of that stuff was happening that I wasn't used to. I'm not going to name anything, but because I know that is normal to people, and I'm not bashing that. I'm not bashing that in any way. I'm just saying it's not something that I was used to and something that I wasn't comfortable with. I'm not saying that these things were bad or anything of the like that because I know that's what people grew up with and I know that's how they run things and I'm not going to bash that. If you are preaching, that is good. Okay? Good. But of course I wasn't and I wasn't amused by that and I just wasn't playing along. And I feel like he called me out there. Maybe I'm just being crazy. Maybe I'm just, trying to pull a victim card or something of the sort. I don't think I was. I think like it was uh, very directed towards me because what I guess I'll kind of quote. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was like, almost every day I come out here, there's always some guy that's has his arm crossed and like a mean face and all that stuff. And then he glances at me for a lot of that, and that just feels kind of silly that you're bashing someone for being in your church and judging what you're doing. Like, even though that's what you think is right, you're gonna have people in your life that don't think what you're doing is right, and that's fine. But that's what you need to talk about instead of just bashing their reaction to it. You need to actually talk with someone. And every time I feel like I talk to someone about this, it just feels like, oh no, that's just it's normal, it's fine, it's whatever. But it's never like, oh, I understand. It's what I grew up with. It's maybe something that you're not used to. It just it blows my mind how people can be so naive sometimes and just to be like I can't think of the word to describe it. Ignorant, would it be? Or just like if you know what I'm trying to say, good. If you don't know what I'm trying to say, I'm sorry. My first time trying to do this sort of thing, 'cause I'm trying to get better at it. But um yeah, if you are going to introduce someone to something and then they don't like it, you can't bash that person because they're not used to something like that. I guess that's what I was trying to say for that bit. But let me come back to what I originally wanted to talk about with my opening sentence or whatever. But yeah, if you were going to pray for something or wish for something and you were going to tell people that you were going to do this thing and then put almost no action towards it, what are you doing? Because that's something that I struggle with a lot and a lot recently, reflecting back on this past year. Is I want to be true to myself. And I would tell people this one thing on what I'm improving on, but in reality, I wouldn't be, and I was just putting on a face. And if you're praying about something and asking for one forgiveness or strength or any benefit to you in any way, but you're not putting any action towards it, I feel like that's slapping God in the face. Does that make sense? I feel like there was something more I wanted to say, but I guess those are my first thoughts of 2026, and there will be many more. So, thank you for watching. I know it was kind of short, but that's all I have to say for now. Thank you.